Martha couldn't. She was just older. You know what I'm saying? She was just older lady. She was.
Well, that's another good point. It's like, damn, dude, come on, man.
What up, though? Welcome back to episode 6. Episode 6. How you say 6 in Spanish? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. Episode 6 of the Woodward Heavyweights podcast, brought to you by Bel-Air Mortgage Studio. I'm joined by a verified badge in the Twitter world, my man Mike Payton from Pride of Detroit. What up, though, man?
How's it going, Easy? I'm glad to be here.
Up, man. Hey, thank you for filling in. I know we had you, weigh in to make sure you're heavyweight to verify that,
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because I get here and Joey immediately tells me that I'm not a heavyweight, which is like, I'm apparently really fat on the other side of the state, but I'm skinny here. So I like it here a little bit more, honestly.
It kind of works like time zones. Like once you cross like a certain border, a certain area in the state, you may like your weight changes,
Right. It's like it's like a fun house mirror or something. Like
yeah.
I'm fat over there, but I'm skinny over here. I'm a hefty 275, man.
I'm with you.
That's heavyweight wrestling in high school. So
did you wrestle in high school?
I did. I was 215 though. Back then.
Okay.
I put on all the the college 50, and
yeah.
I know when people say it's the freshman 15. For me, it was like the freshman 120 or something. But yeah.
Are you an MMA fan at all? From wrestling at all, or no?
I watch the big fights. Like I think the last fight I watched was probably a while ago. It was CM Punk's second fight.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I tune into stuff like that. He got tapped real quick and got beat pretty badly. But
got tapped faster than a porn star.
If it's a big fight, I'll tune into it.
Yeah,
illegally. But I'm looking for the Facebook.
We got him.
Who's got it?
All right, man. I appreciate you coming out here, man. I know you made a trip out here. It was a 2.5-hour drive, so I want to make it worth your time. I want to start the show off with asking you like one serious question.
Yeah.
Why is Carlton such a bitch, bro?
Dude, my wife is freaking out about this too. You're probably talking about the new show, right?
Bel-Air,
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, the thing is, man, if you really think about it,
if we could do it without spoilers, I guess, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's not watching. But Bel-Air's fantastic, by the way. I love it.
It's a really great show. I really love it. Obviously, I mean, I don't know, dude. I'm the biggest Fresh Prince and Bel-Air fan in the entire world.
That's your ringtone every time I kept calling you. You ignore me, dude.
Yeah. I mean, look at my wallpaper.
That's verified.
I mean, you probably can't see it on camera.
Your camera right there. There you go. You can't see it, but we'll screenshot. I guess you probably will see it.
It's a big deal to me. So basically, like without spoiling too much, Carlton and Will are at odds.
Yeah,
like hardcore.
Yeah.
This show's way more serious than the original show.
I like that too.
I like it too. I like it a lot.
It separates it,
But I'm totally into it. But still, when you go back to the original show, Will and Carlton were at odds originally. So I mean, not to this depth.
Yeah, this one's
like it'll get better. That's why I keep telling my wife, it's like it's gonna get better. Give it time.
Yeah.
And it has kind of started to get better. I mean, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it started to get better.
To be honest with you, I'm cool with them being kind of a bitch because like that's good acting. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't disliked the character this much in a TV series since like did you watch Power at all?
No, I still haven't watched Power yet.
Okay.
Or Power Book or Power or whatever the other third Power is.
So Tariq was a character who made himself very...
Is that 50?
Kind of. It was like 50's protege in the series. But yeah, he made himself very unliked. It was... But it's a good... You know what I'm saying? It's testament to like their acting because like you're believing like this guy, Carlton, is a bitch, bro.
I get it. I get it. I think it's gonna get better at some point. But right now he's kind of like the bad guy on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing too. Because I know, like, I remember, like, obviously Uncle Phil and Will had their like riff too. Yeah. Or after ripping episode 1, there was a little bit of that too. And I was like, damn, Will, like, chill. But I guess like this is episode 1, so I'm like, I'm forgetting it's a drama. Like, it's gonna be everything. All those little risks between like people are gonna be like intensified.
Yeah, I think people who are like true fans of the show, like I am, or like you might be, or are, will kind of notice. They'll pick up those beats. Like in this new dramatic, whatever you want to call it, reimagining, they'll pick it up. You'll start to notice, like, okay, well, I guess if you go back, there is kind of that stuff in the original show. Yeah. They're just playing way into it here. But I love it, man. I love the casting. Dude that plays Will, I mean, he's perfect. He's perfect for this.
Yeah, I think he's probably my favorite character outside of Aunt Viv as a fucking dime, bro.
Dude, Hillary
too. On, bro, I was like, I couldn't sleep last night. And so I watched episode 4. I didn't know it came out until I was like scrolling through Twitter or whatever, and like I can't decide who I like who's finer, like old Hillary or new Hillary.
It's really tough for me.
Dude, it's up there. Yeah.
You know, Karen Parsons, who played Hillary originally, was like, I mean, that was a crush of mine. Her and Tatiana Ali, like, who played Ashley, were my biggest crushes growing up.
Bro.
And the group, in the singing group in Vogue. If you've ever heard of them.
Nope.
You're pretty young.
I just said, like,
never going to get it. You remember? You know,
okay.
They sing that song. Yeah. And they were like my first crush ever.
There you go.
So
I have to look. I'm familiar with the name, but I can't put like faces to it. You know what I'm saying, to verify their hotness.
They're 4 very hot black women.
You like Charlie on there. So, all right, anyway. To the meat and potatoes, man, because you work for Part of Detroit, which is my personal favorite publication for Detroit Lions content. I think your guys is like, I think was it the president-in-chief, or was Erik Schlitt's title there?
Erik is our managing editor.
Okay. He is fire.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's a great guy.
Dude, he's the best in the game right now. When it comes to Detroit Lions, like, written content, like, I love it, dude. That guy's the way he does his articles, I feel like, is like a lot of people give like their opinion based, and that's cool. But what he does is like, he'll leave it up in the air. Like, he makes you decide, because he'll give you the information from this side and that one, and then like you have to fucking come to the conclusion of, like, you know what I'm saying, like the Kyle Hamilton one's the one that got me.
Yeah.
Because I was like gung ho on drafting him 3, and we'll get into that too. But like his article, the way he was slick with it, because he didn't really he implied it without like saying it outright. Like, I want, you know, an edge rusher or something like that.
Right.
Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, he puts out a lot of great stuff. Yesterday he had an article. This is coming out on Saturday, so like I think it was Wednesday. He had an article where he went through all the potential ways that they could restructure the cap, and he went with like 3 or 4 different players, and he went through and explained this is how they could do it, this is how much it's going to cost, should they do it, and stuff like that. I mean, Erik just has a mind for that, and it's just amazing. And I remember, not to make this to go too deep into it, but I remember when he first started out, I had been doing it for a few years, and he would like message me for advice and stuff. And I started reading his articles, and I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna blow right past me, like without question. And he did, and I'm super happy for him. He's a great friend, and he goes easy on me in the editing room, and I love Erik. He's a great guy.
Dude, he also recently bodied a freaking national guy. Dude, I don't even remember that guy's name. Michael
Silver, yeah.
Yeah, that guy got bodied, and Erik was like hands off with it too. Really, like it was impressive feat of his.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael Silver is he's a douchebag. I don't know if I can say that on the air.
So a douchebag. Yeah. Dude, anyone, I don't care. I get, like, as a writer, like, especially traditional media is like so like, dude, like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, you're a fan at the end of the day. Right. You're covering this sport because you like football. If you like football, you probably had a favorite team at some point in your life. Like, quit fucking pretending like that's not the case.
Well, I think that he doesn't realize that while we obviously love the Detroit Lions and we enjoy talking about them, we're super balanced. Like, we're not just writing a bunch of I love you articles, and we're not going and being super positive all the time. And not just that, we're in the building, man. We're doing it every day. We're credentialed. We're flying across the country. We're doing games. We're at every single game. We're at every single training camp, every single practice. Like, this is our job, man. We're not we're not just fanboys just singing the praises of the Lions. Like, we work our asses off at this.
No, you do, man.
And he doesn't understand that. So.
For sure. You guys are, like I said, you're my favorite publication when it comes to Detroit Lions content. Like, hands down, man. I'm very appreciative of, like, you guys existing.
Thank you, man. It's always great to hear.
Dude, yeah. So I did bring up a little something, though, introducing that, I guess, that was Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
At number 2. It's still something actually, like, still kind of pondering. What was your take on that?
Kyle Hamilton at 2 is, I think, a little bit too high.
Yeah.
I think if the Lions decide to trade down, which they have the ability to do, they have the second pick. There's a couple teams like the Giants and the Jets that have 2 first-round picks in the top 10. If they want to move up, it really depends on how the combine goes, how pro days goes, who shoots up the board. The Jets and Giants both don't need a quarterback. Usually that's what you see teams trading up for. Maybe another team, maybe Houston wants to move up one spot.
Yeah.
I just can't see Kyle Hamilton being somebody that gets picked second by the Lions, especially when they're going to try to get Tracy Walker to come back. I'm pretty sure they're going to go after New Orleans Saints safety Marcus Williams.
You hear that name a lot.
Who's going to be the top safety in free agency this March. So I think when they go that route, Kyle Hamilton will be kind of an afterthought at that point. He's going to be a great safety in the league, but I don't. It's a little too high.
Would you? And by the way, too, like I think some of that Malik Willis hype, a little bit of that was Brad Holmes like putting the bait out there, like, hey, we like this dude.
Could be.
You want him at 2, like, show me what you got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could be. Like I know a lot of people like to talk about the smoke screen stuff and all that. I've never truly fully bought into that.
Really?
He might just like Malik Willis. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, but like I think he did it last year too. Like he talked about the quarterbacks in the draft last year a little bit. Brad Holmes did, and hyped him up. Press conference for me at least, because I wanted Trey Lance.
Sure.
But ultimately, not Trey Lance, but there was still guys there, and he didn't pull the trigger. So I'm like, okay, he was like, he's throwing the bait out.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I guess that makes a little bit more sense when you have like the 7th pick like they did last year, and you're kind of in the middle of that top 10, and that would be the place where you would want to do something like that. But when you have the 2nd pick, you essentially, you're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels, man. You do whatever you want. I just don't see the necessity to do a smoke screen when you have a pick that high. It just doesn't make. You're not going to fool anybody. I guess you could trick somebody into saying that you want Malik Willis at 2, and another team really wants him, and then they trade up.
Yeah,
I guess that.
So Carolina's been desperate for quarterback for like a minute now. Like,
I
won Stafford last year, they ended up getting Darnold.
Right.
Darnold,
now we're gonna.
Yeah. Only 1 year, but maybe he pans out. But like he doesn't look any promising. Right. All right. So who do you want then at 2?
I don't know right now. For me, I think it's Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon. I think he fits what the Lions are doing a little bit better than Aiden Hutchinson. I know like a lot of Michigan fans and Detroit Lions fans, they love the guy because he's from here.
You know what I'm saying?
I will get that thing out of here. The right one's over by Easy.
Yeah, we got the nice one.
That's right.
That's why I made sure. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's
party on.
Where Papa sits. You know what I'm saying?
But basically, I just think that he's got the athleticism, he's got the speed around the edge, he's got the length and the height that kind of fits better with what the Lions are doing. Not to say that if they picked Aiden Hutchinson, it would be a bad thing. Like, I think you really can't go wrong with either one of these guys. But I just think Kayvon's probably the better way to go.
Yeah, he's got the higher ceiling for sure.
Yeah. I think another thing is like when people look at Aiden Hutchinson, I think they automatically think, well, he's going to be J.J. Watt because he has that.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's because he's
makeup. He has the kind of same.
Because he's white. That's the only reason why he's getting these comparisons. Bro, I swear.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but you could say it.
I could play. Look, I'm mixed. I could play both sides of the fence, man.
That's, and I think there is something to that. And I know that that's probably not gonna be the thing people want to hear, but
well, it's the same thing with Malik Willis, in my opinion, too. Like all the Lamar comparisons, like, dude, no one's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
I don't think it's fair to compare anyone to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is an anomaly. He's himself. Like, I don't know. I feel like people just get caught up in the makeup of what they think someone's supposed to, I guess, look like or reminds them of.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to compare Malik Willis to anybody in the league right now, it's probably Justin Fields.
Yeah,
and it's obviously not because of skin color, just because of the way that they play. It's a very similar style, and they're two guys that probably should have sat up for a year. Like Justin Fields probably should have sat under Andy Dalton this past year.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. People are like even the national media. Why aren't you starting Justin Fields? Why aren't you starting Justin Fields? Like, it's okay to sit a guy who's like a little bit raw.
Right.
Like, it happens all the time. Happened with Pat Mahomes. Happens with a lot of guys. Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, like you can do that, and that's the thing too. Like some people are saying don't draft a quarterback this year for the Lions. I'm like, this is a perfect scenario. If you were, I'm not saying there's a guy that I'm absolutely in love with to do it with, but like, I'm okay with drafting a quarterback this year because we're keeping Goff regardless.
Yeah, so Goff is going to be on this team no matter what.
Exactly. He can sit that 1 year under Goff. We can still continue to build the team through the next free agency class and draft class. Cut Goff for just $10 million the next year, then we have a guy ready to go.
Yeah, and it's probably the ideal way to go because you also give yourself a little bit of an out. That way, if you can see, if you're the Lions and you can see that Malik Willis is just, man, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you have some way of maneuvering things after that. If you let Jared Goff go after 2022, you have to make your pick work. Whatever it is that you do at quarterback has to work at that point. Whereas you have a little bit of leeway. Obviously, you hope that if you take a quarterback this year, he does work out eventually.
Yeah.
Or you hope that if they don't take a quarterback, then Jared Goff kind of shows what he can do, which we saw after the bye that he was a lot better than what we had previously thought he was.
Yeah, he definitely looked a lot better. And I think a lot of that, too, is part of Ben Johnson and his creativity. And, like, I just remember, like, certain not interviews, but the post-game press conferences, like, when they were talking about, like, his resurgence and stuff like that, like, Ben Johnson's name was always being dropped.
Right.
Between Goff saying he was, like, going back to his tape back in L.A., which I thought that would have been something the Lions would have done anyway, but I guess not to the detail that maybe Ben Johnson did. I mean, I can't explain it, but he was like, he's put me in situations I succeeded in back in L.A., which that's where he's obviously most successful. Only other place he's been. And then, I don't know, man, I feel like I'm moving ahead of myself, man. What do you let me go back to Kyle Hamilton real quick.
Yeah.
Because I do want to ask you this, because this is where I get to stump people in that argument with Hamilton. Between everyone in that top five, so like Neil, probably going to be there, right? Obviously, Aiden, you have Hutch, Hamilton. Who do you think, Stingley or maybe that other offensive tackle?
Stingley, Olave, maybe.
Yeah.
I really think that Willis will be up in that top 10 somewhere. It just depends on which team's going to decide to take him.
Now, if you had to like gamble, like odds, like I gave you $3,000 to double up on, who would you put your money on being an All-Pro?
Out of all those players?
Yeah, at 5.
Oh man,
for me that's from some people's. I think Hamilton.
Yeah, see, it's so hard to.
That's what validates like the pick for me. If they, I don't think they'll do it. But I'm just saying, like I'd be damn happy. I wouldn't be upset.
It's really hard to do that. I think, but I guess I would say Evan Neal is probably your because he's a very good. Yeah. He's a very good player, and he'll probably. I mean, there's a good chance that the Jaguars will skip out on Hutchinson or Thibodeau and just go with Neal, and they'll probably be right to do that to protect their number one quarterback that they
anyone who's putting in their mock drafts like not a tackle that number one pick, I think is just like they're crazy. How do you not protect your freaking like star quarterback?
Well, the Bengals learned that lesson, not that obviously they got to the Super Bowl
a little bit,
but I mean, Burrow got sacked 7 times in 2 games in a row in the playoffs, one of them being the Super Bowl, and I'm not saying that Penei Sewell would have change that or but he certainly would have helped.
Yeah. No, for sure. So we got, I guess, I'm sorry that I rewinded the conversation back to
cool.
Hamilton. I like getting people, because I respect your opinion on the matter. So I like using that information to take it on my own. But we dove into the quarterbacks a little bit there, I think. And what is your take on Goff? Like, do you think he can be the guy or like?
I think that there's a chance that Jared Goff can be the guy. And I know like a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that. And I totally get it. Because when you look at that first season in Detroit, before that bye, he had a problem. I mean, the guy had a confidence issue, and you could just see it written all over him. He just did not feel like he could play quarterback in this league. I mean, he never said that, obviously.
Yeah.
But you could see it. Like he's under pressure. He's trying to do the spin out move that never works, and he's trying to make throws that are a little bit easier to make, that that it's harder to screw up throwing to the flat or throwing a short outer. And so, but after the bye, you could see, especially in that game against Minnesota, and I think the moment that he threw that pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown in the end zone that won the Lions their first game, I think that was the moment where Jared was like, man, I get it now. Like, okay, I feel good. I can play this game. Because after that win and after that moment, he was a completely different cat. I mean, he was throwing the ball. He was winging the pig down the field, man. I mean, he was doing things that we had previously not seen him do. He was playing a little bit better in play action, playing a little bit better in the shotgun. He just looked a lot better, and I think that Dan Campbell's play call and Ben Johnson obviously having something to do with that is going to make a big difference for Jared Goff. And I think in 2022, we might see that he might be the guy that can stick around for a while.
Yeah, he definitely has like the trial run to do it in 2022 because he's definitely not getting cut. He's not getting traded because that cap hit is awful. Like
Yeah.
So he has the opportunity to prove it to us. I obviously saw some health things towards the end of the year there too. Does that scare you? I I'm not implying that at all. It doesn't scare me, but
no,
not
too worried. You know, he had COVID there for a minute, and like, you know, who didn't have COVID in 2022 and or 2021 rather. And yeah, he had that, you know, the little bit of the stomach thing, and yeah, I'm not too worried. I don't think anything that he had is long lasting, or nothing required surgery. So
yeah,
he should be fully healthy, ready to go. And he's getting Frank Ragnow back next year too. That should help.
Who was the center that filled in for Frank? He was killing it.
Evan Brown. Yeah, Evan Brown had a really good season, and I quietly had a good season. I don't think enough people are giving that kid credit.
People just don't pay attention to offensive line, but as a heavyweight, you know, but guy.
No, I got you, man.
Guys on the line, I like to watch. You know, especially the D tackles. But
I hear you. No, dude was good, and he's going to be sticking around. Obviously, he's under contract, and he'll be more of a kind of a backup guy who can come in and fill in for some snaps. But yeah, it's a good problem to have when you have too many players that are good on your offense.
I 100% agree. Now, there was some talk that maybe he could, because obviously Frank Ragnow was coming back, like you said. There was talk that he maybe will bounce to the guard spot.
Yeah.
And obviously, we could probably fill or you know, save some cap space by cutting Big V in that scenario. Is that something you could see happening?
Yeah, I think, you know, Big V played fairly well last year. I think he graded out at like 68 on Pro Football Focus, which isn't like elite or anything, but it's not
bad.
Horrible. He didn't get anybody killed. But his contract they certainly overpaid for him.
Yeah.
Like Bob Quinn, I don't know why he gave this dude that much money.
I think it's he's a Michigan beat, right? I can't think. Anthony Broom.
Yeah.
He always puts like the criminal tweets. He's like always arrest these men with Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia. I'm on board with that.
No,
those guys.
I'm with you too. But yeah, I think if they could very well get rid of his contract. They have the out to do it this year. So it really depends. And are they going to draft somebody? Are they going to go out in free agency, or could they move Evan Brown? I don't know. It's really that's going to be one of the big questions of the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
What would you want if you were a GM?
If I'm a GM, I would get out of that Vitae contract.
Yeah.
And I would maybe look at like an Austin Corbett from the Rams, who is a free agent now. It's got some connection to Brad Holmes and Ray Agnew and some of the other guys with the Rams. Like,
is he going to cost a lot though? Or
I don't think that he'll be a very expensive contract. But the good thing is he's a little bit younger than Vitae too. So if you do want to pay a Vitae-like contract, at least you'll get him for a little bit longer. Or, you know, you could move Brown, or there's some guards in the draft. It just depends on where you take them. You know, that's kind of the hard part with offensive linemen outside of tackles. Like, where do you take them?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with that move. I wouldn't be surprised to see it, because do you know off the top of your head how much we save cutting V? It's like $8 million or $6 million or something?
Not off the top of my head, but it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Yeah, and he, like you say, he's pretty average. Like Brown,
I think it's closer to 10.
Okay. Well, hey, then I say we do it then at that point. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's a win-win situation. Like, if you keep him, he's not a bad guy. He can play. But if you drop him, you get extra money.
Yeah. Speaking of cutting guys, another cap casualty that the fans are like screaming for, or have been screaming for, is our guy Trey Flowers.
Yeah.
I know Brad Holmes at his end of the season presser, if you will, was, you know, call him a leader and stuff like that. Like, what are your expectations of him coming up this season? Like, you think he'll be a Lion? You think he'll be a free agent?
I think Trey Flowers will probably be a free agent. Ooh. I know Brad Holmes likes him, or you know, has said nice things about him, but at the end of the day, you could save a lot of money dropping a guy like Trey Flowers, who hasn't had that great of a career in Detroit. Now, with that said, when they ask him to do the things that he's good at, he can play pretty well. If you want him to be your pass rushing guy who's going to get to the quarterback, that's just not what Trey Flowers does well. If you want him to run off the edge, you know, like, that's where he's great. But he does cost a lot of money for a guy who isn't getting to the quarterback. So, yeah, I could see it kind of maybe going either way, where he is kind of a leader, but I think the Lions definitely let him go.
Would you be frustrated if he were to stay?
No, I wouldn't be frustrated at all, because I don't think that you want to just get rid of all your veteran players. Like, it's nice to have some of those guys in the locker room. I understand you get rid of like a guy like Jamie Collins, who it just wasn't
lethargic
happening.
and
wasn't working.
Yeah.
And you have some younger linebackers, and it was good to give those guys some run. But you definitely, in a team that's rebuilding, it's nice to have a guy like that in the locker room.
100% agree. And like, yeah, and that's where I'm at too. Is like, I mean, that's the biggest thing we're complaining about with the Detroit Pistons right now. Is like people want veteran leadership. And it's like, yeah, that's important. But like, obviously, Trey Flowers provides that 2 Super Bowl championships. Like, played under multiple different systems now too. Like, and he is like semi-productive, just not to what his contract is.
Yeah, I mean, for his contract, you want a guy who's getting 10+ sacks a year or something. Like
that.
Absolutely. But he's just not. That's just not the kind of player that he is.
What do you? What's your take on Charles Harris? Like, is he a guy you want back, and is he a guy you think is like a detriment if we don't bring him back?
Yeah, I think Charles Harris is a guy that you want to bring back and probably should bring back, but it just depends on
what price.
At what price? Because I think the Lions do have a little bit in favor, and when it comes to bargaining, because when you look at Charles Harris's entire career, his year with the Lions is that's where it is. That's the top year. Other than that, it's not been that great. He's already, I think, 27 years old, so he's kind of nearing the end of a normal career. I guess would be probably ending around that 30-ish range. So I would love to have him back, but I don't think the Lions should spend too much money on that.
I'm with you. What's too much for you though? Like 10?
If it's 10 per, I think that's a big rush.
Yeah, I hope not 10 per.
Yeah.
10 per.
I know some people have been saying they want him to make kind of like what Aquara made last year, but
isn't he getting 10 per or no?
He's getting around that, and that's fine because Aquara he's a little bit younger, and he had a pretty good season in 2020, better than what Charles Harris did last year. So it made sense to make that deal. So I'm sure they are going to bring Harris back.
Yeah.
But I just hoping that it's not on a really expensive budget.
Now, Erik did an article on the cap space situation, and I know you do your homework too. Like, what are we looking at heading into next year, or I guess in the offseason? Like, what does Brad Holmes have to work with?
Well, it's kind of fluid because like right now, it's before the season ended, it was $35 million.
Okay, and
then they signed about 12 guys to a futures contract, so that brought it down to like $23 million. Now that futures contracts, they don't hit until the new league year starts. So that's March 14th. That's the day that free agency begins. Yeah. So they're probably going to be looking like right now before all the cuts, it's like $23 million. But if they start cutting guys like Trey Flowers and Vitae, that's going to bring
Trey's
it up.
$12 million save, right?
Yeah,
that's $12 million we paid dead cap.
If I had to like guess or make a projection, they'll probably walk into free agency with like $30 million.
Yeah. I could see that. I was reading up something too on like the rookie wage scale because I had to be fully prepared to debate the Kyle Hamilton thing at all times. And people are like, don't pay a safety that much. But like, I think too, like I was reading too, like on like those type of contracts or those future contracts, is like the prorated salaries, where it's like you could say he's getting paid this much, but it's obviously spread across like 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't like really hit the cap in the same way.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of the things that like Lions fans are concerned about, but maybe don't fully think of. Like the Lions could totally be players in this free agency, and they should be, and they will be.
Ooh.
And they could go out and they can get a guy like Marcus Williams, or maybe a Chris Godwin, and you want to backload those contracts so you can fit everything under the cap now, and then you could do restructures later, which is another thing. Like the Lions may restructure a few players.
Yeah.
So that's why it's super fluid right now. It's hard to predict exactly what they're going to have when March 14th rolls around, but I think it's going to be closer to 30, and I think they're totally going to be able to do almost whatever they want.
So you mentioned Marcus Williams twice now, and you're not the only one to do that as well. I think Justin Rogers did that to DMs. We were talking about it. Yeah. What's the deal with him? I know obviously he's playing with New Orleans. That's where Aaron Glenn's coming over from. Right. Like, should we be hyped for him, and how much should we expect to be paying him?
Yeah, absolutely. You should totally be hyped for him. He is one of the better safeties in the league. I think he graded out like an elite 88 or something like that on Pro Football Focus. That's not my exact number. I don't have it in front of me, but he's one of the best safeties in the league for sure, and he's going to get paid like that. So you can expect that the Lions are going to be paying him like a top 10 salary for any safety in the league. It's like anywhere from
like 11 or something.
Well, it's higher than that, man. It's going to be like in the 17 region.
Yeah, fuck.
But when you restructure everything, it's not like you're going to be $17 million for you this year and we're done and the Lions are done. Like they could sign him and they could keep their own guys, and I think he's definitely like a shoe-in to be on the Lions.
Is that because of the Aaron Glenn connection then?
Yeah, for certain. And because the Saints have the worst cap space in the entire league.
He's not going back there.
Like, they're not going to be able to afford to pay him or keep him or anything like that. And they're not going to go the Green Bay route and destroy their entire future to keep one player like they're trying to keep Aaron Rodgers. But, yeah, so with that connection with Aaron Glenn, who players love, I would not be shocked if he came right over. And him and Walker back there that's a problem.
That's another one too. That's obviously out there. We don't know if he's coming or going or staying. Coming or staying does not make sense. Staying or leaving. Yeah. But Tracy Walker, how much is he going to hit the cap for?
Yeah, that's going to be probably and just a guess, like 10 to 14, somewhere like that. Like he's one of the he's top 20 safety probably in the NFL. So I think the Lions definitely are going to want to keep him. And I think he probably wants to stay too. I think they definitely get a deal done. I don't think anybody gets franchise tagged this year because the Lions certainly have enough money to make things happen. So I think.
So we could you think the Lions could afford to bring in both Marcus and keep Tracy? Like, is that like a real?
Absolutely.
Is that like a little bit pipe dream? No, like.
I don't think that's too much of a pipe dream. No, I mean I like a pipe dream to me would be trying to bring in Devontae Adams or something like that. Like I think the Lions have enough money to get things done, and with as much maneuvering as you can do with the cap these days, they could get a lot done. They could do pretty much, again, like I said, almost anything they want within reason. Obviously, Devontae Adams is not going to be a Lion. I'm sorry, guys, it's never going to happen.
And by the way, too, I'm not like, don't overpay these receivers, man. Like I'm just not in the camp of doing that.
Somebody will.
Devontae
Adams will be the highest
he'll definitely get paid, but I'm looking at like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just not a big fan of like paying receivers freaking quarterback money. Quarterback money's changing now too, so I can't even say that anymore.
Yep, I mean some of these guys are pulling that money, man, and he's going to definitely get it.
What so Marcus Williams is one. What other guys in this free agency class do you think have become like Detroit Lions?
I think that there's some Christian Kirk stuff going around. He's receiver for the Cardinals. I think that's a very realistic thing to look.
He seems like affordable too, you know.
Yeah, he's going to be a lot more affordable than some of the other guys. I think the Lions definitely shoot their shot at a bigger receiver. It's not going to be Adams, but like Chris Godwin, DJ Shark Jr., guys like that. I think they're definitely going to shoot their shot. At least shoot their shot.
Yeah,
I think that.
I like Mike Williams. What do you think about him?
Mike Williams would be interesting. He's a little bit longer in the tooth, a little bit older. I don't know, man. I think Godwin's the way to go, and I think with that connection with Antoine Randall, who's the Lions receiver coach, he was with him in Tampa Bay. I think that's a great combination, and I think that could certainly help pull him in here, and it gives Godwin the chance to be the number one guy. He's over there with Mike Evans now, and Antonio Brown was there for a minute too, and he had to share the spotlight with all those guys. In Detroit, he could be the top guy, number one guy. And the good thing about him is he could play in the slot, he could play outside. That would be my first guy to go for if I'm the Lions.
How much do you think he gets?
He's going to be expensive, but not too much, not too expensive. I'm not, maybe somewhere like 20 per maybe.
Yeah. So we definitely probably wouldn't be able to grab him and Williams.
Well, you can, but you're going to have to do some maneuvering. You're going to have to backload contracts. They're going to have to
keep kicking the can on golf.
Yeah. You're going to have to do some things to make it happen, but it can happen.
To be honest, like him, I guess I don't like paying receivers top money, but like he is a guy I feel like can be utilized in almost any offense because of how fast he is.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Jared Goff, he's not the most skilled guy, so I think he needs guys who are fast and get open. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think he's really the guy who's going to throw guys open, but if you have a guy fast enough who's just fuck it. I'm sorry for swearing so much, but
that's fine. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill type. I mean, he's not that fast, but I don't know. He's a guy I think would pair well with Goff.
Yeah, I think he would too.
Anyone, really,
and I think that they definitely should shoot their shot there. And I think that, like to your point on the Tyreek Hill thing, there's a lot of speedy receivers in this draft, like Calvin Austin or John Mechie from Alabama. I think that they're gonna definitely go for guys in the draft that are like that.
Man.
In my opinion,
you got me hyped. Man.
You need a burner, man, and that's what every team, like the Chiefs, they've got, and some of the other teams that I can't really. Deebo Samuel is another guy. Like you need a burner. You need a guy who can make plays, and there's some guys in the draft that they can get a little bit later.
Yeah.
It's a good year for receivers.
Yeah. And speeds, that's the thing you can't teach, you know?
No, right.
Like I said, like Goff, I don't really see him throwing guys open too often. He's not doing like the no-look passes like Stafford, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's not going to happen.
He's going to need some guy that could burn some people and
just
put himself in a position you have to throw the ball to him, you know?
Yeah, and man, it's like Goff's almost he could wind up in a better situation than Stafford had recently with receivers in Detroit. It's just it's really helpful. Like if Goff
and he'll have the offensive line too.
If Goff had Galladay or Marvin Jones and Danny Amendola, I think we're looking at a less than 3-win season.
I agree, actually, for
Those
sure.
guys could not create separation to save their lives, and you could see Galladay in New York. It ain't working out.
We get Cephas back too. That's a name I feel like. I mean, obviously forgot about it in this conversation. Like, do you think he returns the form? You think, well, at least what we saw of him?
Yeah,
at the beginning of the year.
I think he'll definitely make the team. It's just I don't know because Amon-Ra's the man right now, and Antoine Randall has kind of gone on record. Like he's not the decision maker, obviously, but he would like for the team to sign a receiver and draft 2 more. So I think Cephas makes the team, but he's going to be kind of the odd man out.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's safe other than Amon-Ra St. Brown at this point.
I mean, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I mean, dude was amazing. He's breaking Calvin Johnson records, and it's insane. You know?
The thing I love about him too is like, and this is again part to Ben Johnson, which I'm super pumped for. By the way, like when Zach Taylor, I was pumped for him already, but I'm already kind of like, I'm always wary of when I'm excited for my Detroit Lions or any of the Detroit team because I'm a fan. You know I'll get a little slappy, but like when Zach Taylor spoke his name and said that I tried hiring that man multiple times, but he just kept getting promoted, like that's a hell of a coach. You know what I'm saying? To say that kind of thing about Ben Johnson, like I'm ready for it.
Look, man, I've been covering the team for 8 years. I've been a Lions fan my entire life. I can't remember a time when teams were trying their hardest to steal coaches away from this team.
Aubrey
1,000%. Pleasant, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, like all these guys are guys that man, I wouldn't get too used to their names if things start working out around here.
That's the one thing that sucks.
Because if they go out and they have a great season in 2022, maybe make the playoffs, one of them guys is gone, and it's probably Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
Maybe Ben Johnson too. It just depends on how things go.
Yeah. But speaking of coaches leaving, we just lost a linebacker coach.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Mark DeLeon.
What's up with that? Is he moving on to like another staff or things not fitting or who's replacing him?
Yeah, I don't really know too much information about that.
It just happened.
Yeah, I don't know who's some of those lower end coaches, that it doesn't really make big news or anything like that. Like he'll get replaced by somebody. Maybe Calvin Shepard will just move into that spot. But yeah, I'm not really sure why he left or where he's going.
Who's Calvin Shepard?
Calvin Shepard is on the Lions coaching staff right now. I can't remember his exact title, but he's a former NFL linebacker, younger guy. He was in the league maybe 5 years ago. He was helped out in the Senior Bowl as well. He was kind of part of their coaching staff there. So he's a guy that could probably move into that role.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here for it. I kind of have faith in this whole regime. It's crazy coming off a 3-13 season, 3-13-1.
It's really strange because I've obviously, seen this team do things like go 11-5 and make the playoffs, and obviously they lost to the Cowboys and whatnot. But the feeling of optimism just didn't feel as high after that season as it does right now. And I think it's just because the culture, man, is so important, and you really, really feel that these guys just will do anything for this team and for this city and for their coaches. And when you get to a point like that, it's super important. And I think free agents see that too. And the Lions are like the fun team to play for. Like, look at how these guys are having fun. And Coach Campbell is hilarious, and he's a great guy. And all the team, players look up to him as a leader. Heck yeah, I want to go play there. Like that's that's where you want to do. These guys can also pay me a lot of money. So So I think that the Lions could be. I'm not saying the top destination or anything but they could be a destination that players might want to go check out.
And that's why I'm so thankful that Sheila finally it seems, at least the optics are, that she kind of straightened things out with Calvin. Because it's the right thing to do. One, because it's what is that, $1 million or $3 million or something like that? Like 2, I mean, that's obviously they wiped their ass with that as a forward. And
yeah, that was nothing, right? I don't know. Yeah, that was a weird thing.
And then 2, like the optics of it was just horrendous. Like you had the Calvin situation, the Barry situation before that, and like they're gonna continue to make money off his name long even after he leaves this earth because we're playing his highlight reels and selling bobbleheads and jerseys. I'm saying like, just fucking do it. And I don't know, man. I'm Sheila gets a clean slate for me.
Yeah, I put out a column a few weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago. I think it's time to give Sheila some flowers, and I have no problem saying that because this woman has come in and she did exactly what we wanted her to do. She got rid of Patricia. She got rid of Quinn. She wiped the floor, started everything all over again, brought in Dan Campbell, brought in this staff, Brad Holmes. And not just that, but she put an office in between those guys' office in Allen Park. She's involved in everything. She's sitting in meetings. She was in the draft war room. This is an owner that clearly wants to be successful. Whether that works out in the end or not, I can't tell you right now. But I can tell you that she's at least trying harder than I've seen either of the other Ford members try. So that's a big thing. And also, she's bringing like a ton of diversity to this team. The Lions have one of the most diverse front offices and coaching staffs in the league. In a time where obviously that's a big problem with a lot of other teams. And she's also bringing a lot of female leadership into the team as well, which is awesome. And she brought Calvin back. When the fans booed her at Calvin's ceremony, it was very upsetting because this is the first person that's ever worked hard for you.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it shows, man, as time goes on. But I agree because like the fact that Calvin was even there, like if it was that bad, he wouldn't have been there. I'm sure he got cut a check to show up.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, they definitely. I'm sure he's got some money, but not just. It wasn't just that. Like he didn't just pick up his check and leave. He's still coming back and doing things. Like a month ago, he was at Ford Field doing something with the team, and
posted on his socials.
Yeah, Calvin's back.
He probably got paid for that too. You know what I'm saying? But that because remember, I know they reached out to him. They wanted to work it out to where like, hey, and I think they have to actually because it has to count a salary cap or some shit like that. So they have to like work out a contract like where this money is like being allocated and stuff like that. But it's like she's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like stop
getting stuff like that done it's what the fans wanted. So I think that maybe going forward, especially if the Lions start having some success next year, I'm hoping at least that fans will come around on her.
Yeah.
Because I know the idea has always been to blame the Fords, and like I get
Which
it.
you could before, but she's different.
Right, she's different, and I get why you would want to blame the Ford family. Like, I understand that. But at the same time, this has just been a poorly run organization for all these years. There's no curses. It's not just one person's fault.
Yeah.
It's a group of people working together to screw it up.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And like, again, like it's different leadership. Like all you can say about the hiring, stuff like that, like you can point to the Fords because they were responsible for it. But like you said, like I didn't know that she moved the office into Allen Park. And she's in between everyone too. Like when I was like podcasting in the basement, one of the guys I'm most excited to talk to was Darius Slay. And they were, kind of not fresh off a Super Bowl, but they've won a Super Bowl recently with the Philadelphia Eagles. Right. I was like, because everyone here blames ownership. Like, what's the difference there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the feel that, like, that's not the case there? And they're like, they could turn things around quickly. He's like, ownership cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that their owner, so I'm sorry for the lack of names here, but he's like, this guy is at practice. And he understands football. Like, he can talk football, understands positions a little bit, where, like, at the time when he was here, like, Martha couldn't, she was just older. You know what I'm saying? She was just an older lady. She was.
Well, that's another good point. It's like, damn, dude, come on, man.
Fancy ones though, probably Louis V diapers.
Yeah,
you know
no, that's shit. Better diapers than I'll ever be able to afford. but you bring up another good point. Is like that's a big thing is having people around that understand football, and the Lions have never really had that. Rod Wood himself has said he's not a football guy. So yeah. So when Sheila brings in people like Chris Spielman and she has Barry Sanders working on things, and she's brings in John Dorsey and all these guys that
Brad Holmes played tight end.
Yeah, a ton of guys that understand football, like that. That was a huge move. That's what really piqued my like. Wait a minute, is she's really starting to change things around here because now there are people in the building that understand in the building making decision that understand football. So that's a big deal.
And not just that too, like they can articulate it, like from to the players even. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I'm a big guy. I'm a heavyweight. I'm saying, but Matt Patricia, yelling at a guy to run faster, do something a certain way, probably delivered a little bit different from Dan the Man Campbell. You know what I'm saying?
Well, dude, that does matter though. Like, because you could, these players, they look at Dan and remember, the first day of training camp, Dan's out there doing up downs and stuff, doing burpees and whatnot. But they can look at him and they can say, well, this guy, he knows exactly what I've gone through.
Yes.
And my whole coaching staff is like full of former players. They all know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Like, so that just, man, it goes a long way.
Dude, 100%. I mean, we see it. Like I said, optimism for us is there. You hear the players talk about it. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but the draft, because we talked about free agency, and you mentioned safeties, and I feel like that's a position obviously they can be addressed in the draft. But not just Hamilton. I feel like Brisker's a guy that a lot of people like. There's a guy out of Alabama that a lot of people like.
There's a guy from Auburn who has the coolest name in the entire world.
What is it?
Smoke Monday.
Damn, is he good?
He's all right. He's going to be like a 4th or 5th round guy.
That's a sweet name. Not gonna
Smoke
lie.
Monday.
That's like when Greedy Williams came out. I was like, dude, a cornerback named Greedy? Like,
yeah.
I feel like we should take him.
Yeah.
But actually, let's do this. Detroit Lions, how would you break down the biggest position of needs? Like, what's your top 3 that they have to address?
Yeah.
Either free agency or draft, and feel free to expand it to 5 if you want.
Right. I think they definitely need to address wide receiver. That's a super important thing.
Is that one on the list? Or?
I think it should be number 1 because you got to put points on the board.
Okay.
You got to do it.
In today's league, yeah.
Yeah. This is a high scoring game right now. I mean, look how the playoffs went, and how many games went to overtime and stuff like that. You got to be able to score. If you can't defend, you got to try to outscore them. So I think you got to bring in somebody in receiver, a couple, maybe 2-3 receivers like Antoine Randall L wants. And then after that, I would go with edge rusher because you got to get to the quarterback on defense, and the Lions have not been very good at doing that in a while. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a super important thing. And then you got to add somebody in that secondary, corner, safety. Obviously, you're going to get some guys back healthy next year. Jeff Okudah and some of the other guys haven't really proved themselves very much yet. So it would be nice to get somebody, a proven corner in there to help out. So, or maybe you draft one.
So would you put linebackers like 4th?
Linebackers is important, but I think that it's not my top worry at this point. I think right now you want to be able to stop the passing game. You want to be able to get to the quarterback. Obviously, linebackers are important because you don't want to get beat over the middle, but they got guys like Derek Barnes who can kind of grow into a role there, and I think it's time we give somebody that chance to do that. And I'm sure they will draft a linebacker, and maybe they'll look for one in free agency, but it is important. I don't want to stress that it's not important because it is, but I just think the other ones are more
If
important.
and this one probably get a little too detailed on you, so I apologize for just laying out, throwing this at you. But say a guy like me wants Kyle Hamilton at 2, and obviously they don't go that route. They go edge rusher because it makes sense. If you guys don't think it makes sense, if you're that butthurt over it, just check out Erik's article or everything that you said earlier too. But are there some names at the safety position to put us at ease?
Yeah,
in this draft.
It just depends on what they decide to do with that 32nd pick. There's Lewis Sin from where's he? Syracuse, I think. I could be wrong. I don't have it in front of me. There's Daxton Hill, who's a Michigan guy. There's Jaquan Brisker, who's going to be around later. There's Smoke Monday, my boy Smoke Monday. He's going to be out. Yusuf Corker is another guy from Kentucky who's going to be around. So there's other options at safety if they don't go Hamilton. Hamilton's obviously the top guy at that position, but if they were to wait around and maybe get a Brisker at 32, which is possible, that they'll be fine.
Yeah. Receiver at 32, obviously a lot of people are saying Drake London. I don't think he'll be there.
No, probably does. It's probably going to be more like David Bell, something like that. I don't know. It really depends on what they do in free agency first. If they can go out and get a big time guy like Chris Godwin or something like that, I think that they have the ability to wait a little bit longer to the 3rd or maybe even 4th round for a guy like Calvin Austin or something like that. They could afford to wait if they get themselves a great free agent.
Do you think Jamison Williams falls there or is around that point, or would you be mad?
If he's at 32, then sprint to the podium for Jamison Williams because he's probably not going to be there. He'll probably go in the top 15 somewhere.
Damn, he with the injury?
even with the injury.
Yeah. Damn. you had receiver, you had cornerback, safety. Actually, cornerbacks, because obviously Stingley's not going to be there. Who's guy might be there? 32.
There's Trent McDuffie from Washington.
Sounds like a made-up name. I don't believe you.
There's a guy who Tariq Woolen, who played on the Lions Senior Bowl team. He made some noise during the Senior Bowl, and he's a guy they could probably get in the 3rd or 4th round.
Okay,
he's a pretty good corner.
Bryant, is he a guy you think will be around there? Is he worth the pick? The guy from Cincinnati.
What's his name?
I think his name's Kobe Bryant.
Oh, Kobe Bryant. Yes, Kobe with Coby. Kobe Bryant. Yeah. I'm not sure where he's gonna go. To be honest, I'm not sure at this point.
Yeah.
Had
to ask. Linebacker Devin Lloyd's the name that I keep hearing. Obviously, people want the other guy from Georgia too, but I doubt he'll be there. Is there any guys there?
At like 32?
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a ton of guys there at 32. There's Chad Muma is going to be around. There's what's his name from LSU? I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Damone Clark.
You're good.
Damone Clark will be around probably, maybe even in the 3rd round. There's some mock drafts that have like Nakobe Dean from Georgia going even farther, like going maybe to be around in that 32. I don't think it's going to happen, but if he's there, that's another guy you sprint to the podium for. Yeah. You saw how well he played in the national championship game and against Michigan. So yeah, there's some options there. I don't know if they. I think if they have that 32nd pick, they're probably gonna go around for that safety. Like Brisker will probably be there. Man. Everything really. If you ask me like in April or May, I'll have a better answer for you because we got to see what the free agency is going to look like.
Okay, I could deal with that. I said to put myself at ease, especially the safety spot, because like I said, I mean, I agree with you. Neil probably could be up there at odds to be like all pro out of that 5, but I think number 1 or number 2 could easily be Hamilton. That's why I was like, fucking do it. Dog.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Would you be mad if it happened?
Maybe. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like I just think if you're at 2 and you're going to stay at 2 and you don't take one of these pass rushers, even though
Carl Loftus,
and there's Jermaine Johnson,
Minnesota, Jermaine Johnson.
There's a lot of guys you can wait on a pass rusher, and I think if the Lions were to trade down from 2, they could absolutely still get a great pass rusher. But when you get down to that 32 range, all those guys that you might want are going to be gone. Yeah, and you're kind of picking from the bones there. So if you need to rush the passer, and you're not going to find anybody in free agency because everybody who's available is like 30 plus at this point. 30 years old and older.
Oh.
So like,
who's there though?
There's like Von Miller's going to be out there, Jason Pierre-Paul, guys like that, like older
Von Miller's
guys.
Good though.
Von Miller, I think he already said that he wanted to return to LA. So
yeah, he's chasing rings at this point though. I'm tripping.
Right, and I don't blame him for that at all. So yeah, I think they definitely, if they're sticking at 2, it's going to be one of the pass rushers, and that's what it should be.
Shut the fuck up! No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. All right, man. I have to accept it. I already did when Erik came out with the article because like, there it is. Well, shit, man. We got into it. You're here in town. You're 2.5 hours away. One of the comments you made was you want to eat some Detroit food.
Yeah.
Where are you planning on stopping today?
Oh, I don't know, man. I might head over to Ferndale and go to what's that place? The hot dog place over there.
Oh,
really
Imperial.
Cool. Imperial.
Dog, honestly, like I'm not lying to you. I was like, if he goes there, I'm going with him.
Dude,
have you had it?
Oh man, yeah,
dude, they're the best.
Yeah. Hey,
like honestly, like Coney's like our thing in Detroit.
Dog, I'm down.
That should be our hot dog of Detroit. Those
I don't know about that, man.
You take Coney over that?
Oh, yeah, dude. Coney's they're here, man.
You're saying that to save face.
I love Coney's, man. Love them.
I might have to get Imperials like a sponsor or something like that. That'd be pretty
sick. Get it.
Heavyweights, food, like just makes sense, bro.
Get some dogs in here all the time, man. Yeah, Imperial's great. Something like I might go there, or I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Anything else you came here? Do you want to get off your chest? Any like hot takes or any topics or anything you just want to stress to the people to like, I guess, be informed of before freaking out and tweeting crazy stuff?
Yeah, I mean, do you want my like super hot take or?
Yes, actually, yes.
You guys are in embarrassing us with this Matthew Stafford stuff.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, man.
Clap it up, bro.
Sorry, guys. I know that like people don't want to hear it, but we didn't win anything. Like we did not win it. Nothing good happened to us. I'm super happy Matthew Stafford won the Super Bowl. And in a way, I do feel vindicated because I have for the last 7 years. I've fought so many battles with people over Matthew Stafford, and I've written tons of articles. People say, you wrote the book on somebody. I wrote the book on Matthew Stafford. I've been trying to prove to people that he's great, and so I do feel vindicated that he wins the Super Bowl, and that's awesome. But people wearing Detroit Rams stuff.
Dude,
I saw a billboard on the way here.
Oh my God.
With Matthew Stafford on it saying like, go Matthew and go win the Super. It's like, what are we doing, guys?
They're on a billboard?
Yeah.
What are you people? You're spending money? Oh my God.
And the best way I can explain it is like, this is how I feel. When I was a kid, my brother got a PlayStation for his birthday. And he was super hype about it.
Yeah.
And I got super hype about it. Like it was my PlayStation too. But it was not my PlayStation. It's my brother's PlayStation.
Yeah.
And my parents are divorced, so like I would go over there every other weekend and then I would go home. So when I went home on Sunday back to Detroit, I didn't bring a PlayStation with me. But when I was there, I acted like it was my PlayStation too. And I feel like that's what some of these, I don't want to say all Lions fans are doing it, but I feel like that's what some of them are doing. This wasn't our Super Bowl. This wasn't our moment. I'm super happy for the guy, and you can be happy for the guy, and you can cheer for whatever you want, and that's fine. But when I look at national media outlets like Bleacher Report or some of the, Pat McAfee and some of these people laughing at us over this Detroit Rams stuff,
bro,
like we didn't need to give people another reason to laugh at us,
dude. And the thing too is like with this scenario too, like. And I am happy for Matthew Stafford. Like, dude, we watched this kid grow up here, bro. Like,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm allowed to be happy for him, but I'm 100% next year rooting against him again because my team is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Rams don't exist. It's not a franchise. You know what I'm saying? And, like, we literally had the worst possible outcome for that trade this year, landing pick 32. You know what I'm saying? Like,
still not like horrible. It's great to have.
No, for sure. It's still a good thing to have. But I'm saying it's like I'm not saying like people rooting too is like gonna change the outcome of a game and stuff like that. But like, it's just embarrassing, bro. Like whatever makes you happy, it's hella corny. But just like stop embarrassing the rest of us, please. Like do that shit in private. Like I don't know, man. It's just it's tough. And the Stafford crowd, dude, they'll like they go hard. And I think it is like it's 12 years of being wrong. 13 years, I'm sorry, of being wrong in terms of like the Stafford arguments and stuff. Maybe not wrong, but there's some people that are super crazy with it. Like,
people just didn't want to believe that he was a good quarterback because he played for the Lions, and that's the only reason. Like,
there was a crowd that were like, he'd be better than Tom Brady, which I think skill set wise, I'm not gonna lie, probably a little bit more talented. Not decision making wise, stuff like that. No, like cerebralness.
Throw the
not
ball
there.
harder than Tom Brady for sure.
Yeah. But like, just there were people like just like fanatics like going like too far with it. Because dude, let's be real, man. Like the shit, he's a good quarterback. I've been stressing that. That's been my statement since forever. But like, he's not like absolved of the shit that happened here. Like,
no.
Going back to his like some of the losses, if you look at his numbers in them, like they're not great. You know what I'm saying? Like interceptions happen. I'm saying like he saw in the Super Bowl. He's so talented. He knows he can make these throws, but they're not always the smartest throws to make. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, I mean, he's a gunslinger, in the classic sense. I mean, a lot of people, they almost didn't win that game. He almost threw an interception against the
Bucks and the 49ers too.
And the 49ers, that's what I'm talking about. At the end of that 49ers game. I mean, it's like that doesn't make him a bad quarterback necessarily, but he's going to take a little bit more risk than some of the other guys. But I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
But this was not for us. We did not win this game.
Yes.
These guys did not win this game. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit, and we'll have our day in the sun. But let's not try to make their day in the sun our day in the sun, even though we might care a little bit more than actual Rams fans care, because apparently they just didn't even care.
Facts. Anything else? Any Pistons take? I know you're a Pistons fan.
Man, as far as the Pistons,
where you at Dwayne Casey?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know at this point. Like the Pistons are super young, obviously, and I don't know if what they have on the court right now is going to last much longer. Like I think they probably move Jeremy Grant after the season's over.
Yeah.
I think you outside of Bay and Cade, like who on this team would you protect? You know, if you were on a desert island and you were playing Survivor and you were like, I need 2 of these guys to play or to stay on this island, like you'd pick Cade and you'd pick Bay and you'd let everyone else leave the island for no problem at all.
Yeah.
So I just think they're working towards that 2023 free agency year where they're going to have the most money out of the entire league, and I think they're going to have a lot of money after this season too.
Yeah.
But I think that 2023 year is when we can really look at things. But I don't know, man. Dwayne, I just don't know if he's the guy.
I agree. I think he may be part of like Troy's plan and tanking is keeping him here.
It could be.
All due respect.
I think the biggest complaint I have is with him is that when you have guys like Jeremy Grant who, and I like Jeremy, he's a great player and he's going to be great wherever he goes, but he wants to be the man here, and it's Cade's team, man. This is Cade's team. It should be Cade's team right now, and it's going to be Cade's team in the future, and it's time to kind of. And he made that great shot against the Celtics the other night. Jeremy did, and that was awesome. But I almost feel like I would have rather had Cade make that shot. Because I would rather have that.
You just want the shot made, though.
I do want the shot made, but I also want to put Cade in that situation because Jeremy's not always going to be here, and I want to have Cade in that situation in a year that doesn't matter to see if he can build some confidence in those moments, and he has shown in the past that he can be clutch. But I just feel like there's too many instances where the guys are out for themselves, and they've never really been reined in by Casey, and that's a problem.
Yeah. One last question.
Yep.
Quarterback coach duo, Royal Rumble. I know you're a wrestling guy. I think I'd take Dan Campbell and Jared Goff probably the number 1 seed in that scenario. Like, are you in agreement with that one? Is there another quarterback
I think
coach duo you take?
When I look around the league, I think most of these old guys would be super tired by the time Dan Campbell comes around. Man, like Dan's a big muscle dude. Jared,
he's not small, but he's not big. He's not thick. He's just tall.
Jared's, kind of wiry, man. Like he can, he's the guy that you're in the club and you're like, that guy can't fight, and you find out that he can.
Yes.
Maybe that's Jared Goff. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think I'd probably go with them to win the whole thing. Yeah.
I'm with you, man. Well, this is episode 6 of the Woodward Heavyweights podcast, brought to you by Bel-Air Mortgage Studios. Shout out to them. Make sure if you guys want to make some money, not make some money, but you want to purchase a house, a great investment, do it through these guys. They'll definitely hook you up. Ask for John. I was going to say one more thing, something funny. I was going to say we're going to eat wieners and bacon wrapped around them because that's Imperial. So we're probably going to do that, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We out.
Give me some ganja. 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 Give me some ganja.